Okay, picture this. You know that incredibly fancy consulting firm your company just hired? The guys in the $3,000 suits throwing around words like synergy and paradigm shift? Yeah, you're going to want to ask for a refund. Welcome to this explainer, where we're digging into some source material that proves a massive, meteor-level impact just leveled the corporate world. The traditional consulting model, it is officially a dinosaur staring at a giant fireball in the sky. But don't panic, we're also going to map out exactly what to do instead so you don't go extinct. Let's dive in.
$400,000. I mean, think about that. For decades, massive enterprise companies have literally been handing over the price of a really nice suburban house just to get an 87-page strategy report. Seriously, a report that gets delivered in a beautiful binder, dropped right onto an executive's desk, and then basically just sits there gathering dust forever as the world's most expensive paperweight. When you say it out loud, it sounds completely absurd, right? But it literally happens every single day.
It's what the industry calls the old waterfall consulting model. It's bloated, it's painfully slow, and it goes a little something like this. Step 1, you pay an absolute fortune just for the strategy. That's your big, expensive report. Step 2, assuming you haven't completely blown your budget, you go hire a totally different firm to actually build the tech. And step 3, adoption, which basically translates to rolling the software out, buying everyone free pizza in the break room, and just praying to the corporate gods that someone actually logs in. It's a disaster.
But guys, this sluggish, top-heavy model broke literally overnight. Why? Well, enter Jimmy Johns from the sandwich department. Okay, obviously Jimmy is a hypothetical guy, but he represents your everyday run-of-the-mill employee. The whole consulting racket fundamentally shattered the exact second that everyday domain experts, folks like Jimmy or, Karen in accounting, got their hands on modern AI. The power isn't just locked up with teams of expensive developers anymore.
Get this, building a custom internal tool used to demand a jaw-dropping budget. We're talking like $20 million in 2 full years of development. Today, armed with nothing but his own everyday knowledge of his job and a cheap $20 a month AI subscription, Jimmy can literally build a tool to solve his own problems in a single afternoon. A couple of typed out prompts and boom, he just did in 4 hours what used to take years and millions of dollars. Does that completely blow your mind? Because it absolutely should.
Our source material drops a really fascinating insight right here. It says AI breaks everything not because it's overhyped, but because of how it works. And man, is that true. We're seeing some wild extremes play out right now. On one hand, some companies are seeing massive thousands of % returns. They are absolutely crushing it. On the other hand, others are just setting their money on fire. They're racking up insane computing bills, dealing with stolen ideas, and hitting massive walls entirely because they're using the tech completely wrong.
Which naturally brings us to the grifters. Desperate to keep making money in a world where Jimmy is basically building software on his lunch break, all these new AI agencies are popping up everywhere, aggressively pitching you 100% AI solutions for literally everything. But here's the secret from the source. Stop forcing AI everywhere. Honestly, half the time these guys are trying to use super complex AI to fix a problem that a boring 5-line Python script could handle in a second. It's like buying a jetpack just to cross the street to check your mail. So, if not a jetpack, what does a truly effective tool actually look like right now? Well, it is definitely not 100% AI. The reality of a working solution is more like a recipe. You've got about 60% traditional, boring software as the base, 20% solid, rule-based business logic, and then just a very carefully integrated 10 to 20% sprinkle of AI on top. AI is a total game changer, for sure, but it has to be orchestrated with traditional methods. You can't just replace everything with AI just for the hype.
Okay, moving on to the new bottom-up playbook, how to actually succeed. So if that old $1 million top-down waterfall strategy is officially resting in peace, how do we actually build stuff that works without bankrupting the company? You gotta flip the script entirely. You need to run your internal ops like a fast, scrappy startup. It breaks down into 3 key steps. First, discover and build. Second, let the AI experts scale it. And third, package and invest. Basically, you're giving the power back to the people actually doing the works, rather than paying some outsider a fortune to guess what your problems are.
Let's look at step 1, which the source calls discover by doing. This completely cuts out the middleman. Instead of hiring a firm to aggressively interview your staff, you just hand your actual domain experts a $20 AI tool and say, hey, use this to try and fix that annoying spreadsheet thing you hate doing every Tuesday. Now, is the software they spit out going to be flawless? Definitely not. It might only be like 60% of the way there. It'll be clunky, but here's the magic. They are directly defining the solution to their own real-world pain point.
Then, over the next few weeks, you just watch. You collect data on what the employees built and how they're actually using it. Then, and only then, do the real tech experts step in. And notice, they aren't stepping in to write an 80-page manifesto. They look at Jimmy's clunky little tool and go, okay, I see what you're trying to do here. Let's take this, integrate it securely, establish some proper governance, and scale it up so the whole company can use it safely.
And that brings us to step 3, where you package and invest in these proven, battle-tested solutions. This is where the math gets crazy. Because of these AI tools, a tiny, nimble team of maybe 10 to 20 people using this bottom-up playbook can literally run circles around a massive 50-person legacy firm. You're building enterprise-grade software faster, way cheaper, and vastly more effectively, simply because you aren't bogged down by the old dinosaur rules.
All right, final section. Adapt, explode, or die. The incoming wave.
Look, the academic world is already in total chaos. Teachers literally have no clue how to grade essays anymore because of AI. In corporate consulting, they're absolutely next on the chopping block. 90%. That's the number. The source material issues a pretty stark warning here. A massive wave is coming, and a simple subscription to something like Microsoft Copilot Studio is going to easily replace 90% of the vendors out there who just charge you to build basic digital workflows. If your entire business model is basically doing digital paperwork that an AI can now do for $20, yeah, you're going to get wiped out.
So where's the life raft? What on earth do you sell when the basic stuff is virtually free? The answer is individuation and bespoke human experiences. If AI can do all the traditional baseline tasks for $0, you have to make that baseline your feature, not your actual product. Your new product has to be deeply personalized. We're talking custom, handheld walkthroughs for individual clients buying insurance, or automatically generating totally unique, one-of-a-kind tests for every single student in a class. The real premium value is now the human, incredibly tailored experience delivered at scale.
Because as this current AI hype bubble prepares to burst, and let's be real, it will, just like the dot-com bubble, it is going to completely wash away the old waterfall dinosaurs and the grifty agencies selling snake oil. But the companies that do it right, the ones empowering their people and scaling smart, they're going to pull unbelievable value out of the wreckage. So I'll leave you with this to chew on today. As everyday tech handles the absolute basics, what is the next layer of value you can offer above free? Are you going to adapt to this new bottom-up reality, or are you going to get crushed by the wave? Think about it. Thanks for joining me for this explainer, and I'll catch you on the next one.